Good day guys, come here, welcome back to Langrisser M News from the future, and coming to you on part 1 of 2 of this video, presenting the 2 new heroines, two heroines back to back for the month of and November 2 and December is none other than our part 1. First we'll be featuring the beautiful follower of Empress Sheena, Randele. So she is the follower of Empress Enya's younger sister Sheena, and we'll get back to some of the detail in a while. So are you guys ready? Let's get started. So the usual stuff, videos will be broken into 3 parts. First part will be featuring the voice actress, some background stories of the characters. Part 2 will be going through on skills, and part 3 the pros and cons of the characters. Yep, very sexy lady, but despite the appearance, do not be cheated by it. She is not your typical smart lady. She is kind of yandere or beyondere, so she's kind of those weird characters, and you guys will find out soon because she's voiced by none other than Miss Murata Tomosa. So some of you oldies anime fans might have find this name familiar, so let's check it out. So all of you otakus fans out there definitely will be very familiar to the characters on the left. She is the female leading characters from the comic and anime that is very famous back in 2009, correct me if I'm wrong. I'll try 2000, early 2010s. Okay, she's none other than the female leading characters of Mirai Nikki Yuno Gasai, or Gasai Yuno. She's the female perverted sick characters of the show, and yep, she's a female leading characters, and I'm familiar with that show because I watched it. However, on the right is a characters from this, I'm not sure if it's a game or anime, is known as Girlfriend Beta, so sorry about it, not very familiar with this work. And this means that you will be hearing some weird, sick and cool perverted voice from these characters. Alright, let us talk about some background of the characters. Relationship with this characters that is not yet to come. The younger sisters of Empress Enya, aka Sheena. So just a brief explanation from the story. So pardon me if I have some mistranslated text here. So after the internal civil war of Ashen, including the leading rebellion factions of the gang from Sheena, all of them has been sealed by Empress Enya under the bottom of the sea, or bottom of the ocean, under the Tower of the Fools. However, and all of the followers, Randele has been one of the most loyal follower of them all, of Sheena, because Sheena is the one who apparently appreciate her characters, and also have been very benevolent towards Randele. So this make her lonely heart. She created some salvations towards her lonely heart, and even sealed deep in the ocean, she firmly believed and have strong faith in Sheena. She swore to get out of the cage one day and avenge her queen, her empress Sheena. Then relationship with the other characters will be Virelia. So after that crazy or fierce internal war or civil war battle, Randele has sunk into deep hatred and has advancing lots of crazy attacks at the cage at the bottom of the sea, again and again, creating different types of impact. And at a lot of occasions, she has been met up and battled with Virelia, and it has been described that she has seeked to other power source, even summoning the ancient creatures of the old one, and also collaborate with other forces in order to try her best to overthrow Enya and Virelia factions. And this is one of the descriptions towards Virelia. The shaper without flaws, the blasphemism of creation. The disgrace you have bestowed upon me, I will double it back. So, of course, this is just in my own voice. You guys will be hearing her own voice in a while, and that's even more crazy. So stay tuned. So last but not least, this is a chibi art by Liana Grande Curry about Randele. Even in the chibi art, you guys can appreciate not one but two boing physics. Okay, so something I mixed up. So this a quick background description about Randele. Deep beneath the oceans depth of Ashen, she belongs to one of the old faction, the Primal Source faction. She has been chasing and following the one and only Queen, Shiena. After being exiled deep under the ocean, she yearned for and embraced the dark abyss. Under her bookworm-like nerdy appearance is a cruel and crazy avenging heart. And that is Randele. And we have come to the end of section 1, and let us hear how she sounds like before we proceed. Here we go.
久しぶりに吸う外の空気。血生臭さが混ざってゾクゾクしますわ。あら、失礼。我が女王、シエナ様を見かけませんでしたか?
So okay, before I carry on, so basically something happened at Echo of Toy War Chapter 2. Those old Civil War, those prisoners who have been trapped has managed to get out of their prison that they have been trapped under the ocean, and Randele is one of them. So this is a description that despite you summon her, there's her speech that it seems like she just managed to escape from the prison. So she's saying, the long awaited breath of above the ocean, the smell of blood and spirit of the battle spirit makes one nostalgic and excited. Oh my, mess my manners. Alright, mind if I ask, have you seen my queen, Empress Shiena? So this is just a rough translations, but that is what she's trying to convey. So you can see that she is both a weird, crazy, sick lady that looks so full of madness. However, at the same time, she is still a person who is still full of devotion and respect towards her queen. She's not like your usual she don't act like the usual crazy villains that that can be just purely crazy or can double cross anyone. At the same time, she can be crazy and probably might be bad. However, she has a strong faith and devotions toward the one whom she believes, Empress Sheena. So right, let us end with the speech one last time before we go to the second sections that everyone wanted to see. Here we go.
久しぶりに吸う外の空気。血生臭さが混ざってゾクゾクしますわ。あら、失礼。我が女王、シエナ様を見かけませんでしたか？
So before you go into the section, I once again gotta say kudos and respect to Miss Murata Tomosa-san. I mean, just by this summoning speech of Randele, you can hear the first sentence she can go all weird, sick, pervert and crazy, and then the second sentence she can just switch and give you a fearful tone full of respect toward someone she's seen as her main source of comfort and devotion. I'm not sure if this is how I describe the correct descriptions, but that's how I feel. And alright, we have come to the end of part 1 and now to part 2. Here we go. Right now we are at part 2. Thanks again to the Langrisser M app, Monghua Mointan So You, and we'll be going through not just 1, not just 2, but 3 exclusive skills being released for those characters. And before we proceed, you guys might want to ask, how good or useful is she? And apparently on this Apex S20 of the CN server, she is one of the top being used or most used AoE spamming characters for the meta. So she's definitely a character ranked between tier 1, T1 to T0. She's not really T0, but she's definitely above T1 based on a couple of pros discussion and description about these characters. She definitely need a little bit of setup and combo with certain heroes before she can reach T0 level power, which we will be discussing on part 3 of video. So alright, let's go. So watch till the end of this video for the translated version of the character skills talents I did for these characters for you guys. So a little furthermore background about the characters before I carry on. It did say some birth background story of Randele. She is born through the tears of the goddess, and she's considered. She is the leader of the primal source factions that has hidden in the deep part of the ocean in Ashen. She has extremely loyalty and I guess a bit of fascinations to it. Her queen, and on this part they refer to her Sheena as the queen of the dream, Sheena. So for the sake of Sheena, she willingly create chaos and a lot of issues or troubles in the country, and cause the future of the elf to return back to the primal and without any law and order. Yep. So alright, we talking about factions. So faction wise, since it seems like they are the villain right now for part 2 or part 3 of the story, she is from Darkness faction, Yellow's factions, and Strategy. So this is her talent. It can be called as cases, the bookcases of books or casket of books. However, looking at these icons, we're looking at a book cover, so I'll be calling it cases of books instead of casket of books, because casket sounds more like a coffin for the books. So I'm gonna go with cases of books. So alright, the talents are as follow. Number 1, increase damage deal by 30%. Number 2, increase range by +2. Number 3, at the start of the battle, gain 3 layers of chaos fragments or chaos chapter. We'll be calling it CF for short. Number 4, any unit on the field, when they end their turn, if they move 3 blocks or above during the turn, Randele will gain 1 layer of CF counter, capped at a maximum of 5 layers. Number 4, when you end your turn, you can consume each layer of CF counters equivalent to the number of enemies you want to cast the debuff on them, known as Sinking Box of Dreams, SBOD. SBOD has the following 3 effects. First, when any enemy entered, if they have moved 3 or more blocks this turn, they will have a -2 mobility on the next turn. Second, the skills with the shortest CD will increase by +1 turn. Third, the whole effect cannot be dispelled and lasts for 1 turn. So overall, she seems a bit like her talent is very strong. Definitely is a global skill. Any unit on the field, it affects globally, and not to mention she's like a combined upgraded version of the Darkness faction heroine Gustav from Langrisser Reincarnation. So she has, at rank 6, she has 30% damage increment, she has a +2 range. Then at the start of the battle, she already had this automatically she has 3 layers of chaos fragments. This means she is able to cast her talent effect at the start without a need of turn setup. Then the 4th, any unit on the field when they end their turn, if they move 3 blocks or more, then they will help Randele to gain 1 layer of CF, be it ally or enemy, any unit. However, it's been capped at 5 layers. Then when Randele and her turn, she can consume 1 layer of CF, each layer of CF equivalent to the number of enemies she want to cast, to give the buff or debuff, SBOD, Sinking Box of Dreams. And this will cause the enemies whom has moved 3 blocks or more to have -2 mobility. Then CD with the skills with shorter CD to have a +1 turn, and not to mention the whole effect cannot be dispelled, and it will last for a turn. So actually slow down the pace of the enemies while building more advantage towards your own team. So this talent effect. So okay, we have exclusive skill 1 and exclusive skill 2 here. Okay, so we're going with exclusive skill 1 first. Exclusive skill 1 is roughly translated as case of dark domain. It is a 1C skill. The CD no CD. The range is self. The AoE type is self targeting. So you have both passive and active skills. Let's go through with the passive effect first. Passive. Number 1, add 25% of your magic defense to intelligence. Number 2, when you trigger your talent effect, the following will happen. First, you can consume an additional layer of CF to heal 1 ally HP based on your intelligence times 3. Second, damage received reduced by 15%. Third, the effect will last for 3 turns. Okay, a very strong passive effect. You don't have to do anything. Automatically add 25% of a magic defense to your intelligence. So in return, you get higher intelligence even without any other external help. Automatically gain that. So she has her talent at damage, her passive at intelligence. Then second effect is when you trigger your talent effect, you can use up additional layer of your CF to heal 1 ally. So this is like a single target miracle ability, because you heal an ally based on times 3 of your intelligence, and they will receive damage reduction received by 15%, and whole effect lasts the effect lasts for 2 turns. My bad, it's not 3 turns, it's 2 turns, sorry about that. Then active skills is very weird and very short. Is active skills. Number 1, consume 1 layer of CF counter and change these skills to case of volume. So case of volume is exclusive skill 3. Will come to it later on. So the more, or if not the most important ability of this skills is apparently the passive. As for the active, it's just like switching the skills around. Okay, exclusive skill 2, Dark Realm Aesthetic. It's a 2C skill, has a CD of 3, the range is 2 block. AoE type is magical single target. So the effect are as follow. Use the skills. Number 1, gain 2 layers of CF counters. Number 2, teleport an ally to area 2 blocks around you for 2 turns, and the following will happen for 2 turns. First, you will take incoming damage for that ally within a 3 blocks range. Second, ignore close combat penalty. Number 3, you will gain 80% damage reduction for the next damage you received. So apparently she is a magic tank. Okay, no, she is a tanker, a single target tanker. So apparently this is similar to, what I can remember is similar to either Langrisser Millennium Tiana or one of our older collaborations, Gintama Gintoki from the Gintama collab, one of a Gintoki's talent. So you target one ally for you to guard. So whereas is that when you cast this skill, you automatically gain 2 layers of chaos fragments from your talent, so it assists yourself. Then at the same time you can teleport an ally to areas 2 blocks around you for 2 turns, and you will be taking incoming damage for the allies within the 3 blocks range. Then you ignore close combat penalty. And not to mention, the last but not least, you gain 80% damage reduction for the next incoming damage you receive. So you definitely will be able to survive the first incoming attack. And I do notice that exclusive skill 1 provide 25% of your magic defense to your intelligence. So I'm gonna speculate she's gonna have an S for her magic defense, so she is definitely a great tanker against magic attack in comparison to physical attack. However, exclusive skill 2 number 3 gave you 80% damage reduction for the next damage you receive, so there's a high chance that you will still be able to survive physical attack too. So that's pretty decent of the skills. Okay, last but not least, moving to exclusive skill 3. Case of Volume. Again, it's a 1C skill, has a CD of now. The range type is self, the AoE type is single target. Again, has both passive and active skills. Passive, number 1, guard incoming magic attack for all ally 1 block around you. Number 2, when triggering your talent effect, you can consume 1 layer of CF Chaos Fragment and gain for 2 turns the following effect. First, increase the guard range to 2 blocks. Second, when being attacked and goes into battle, you will attack first and you will be able to counter ranged attack. Active skills. 1. Consume 1 layer of Chaos Fragment CF and switch these skills to exclusive skill 1, Case of Dark Domain. Okay, so now I understand the relationship between exclusive skill 1 and 3. So when you need to and you do not want to be a tanker, so this is a very versatile character. However, as you can see, despite she can allows you to tank for both physical and magic depending on the skill equipped. However, she is definitely a much stronger tanker towards magic attack. So exclusive skill 1, you can choose to make her as a healer and making use of magic defense to increase your intelligence, because you got to switch the passive skills. So you can use your talent effect to heal allies and gain damage reduction buff. Then when you switch to exclusive skill 3, you can make her to become a tanker, and this is a pretty smart and cool move, something new you see in Langrisser. Guard skill is no longer taking up active skill slot. Instead, these are passive skills that you can trigger your talent effect, consume 1 layer of your talent CF counters, and let her to have guard range for 2 blocks. And her guard range is pretty cool, even though it's still guarding against magic attack. However, you will attack first in this battle, and you'll be able to counter any range attack. There's no limit to how far you can counter. It just says you'll be able to counter range attack, and you attack first. So if any characters, mage character, like example Awakeners, if you try to use single target skills and she try to attack your other ally, and Randele has this gut skill in work, she'll be able to counter attack first, and in return she'll have higher chance of surviving with the combination of exclusive skill too. And then it's a very versatile skills, because skill 1 and 3 can be switched around. So that is like, in my context, this is like bringing 4 skills. You're going to be bringing one exclusive skill 1 and 3 can be switched around. That's like bringing 2 skills. Then you're going to be bringing one exclusive skill 2 possible, and then equipped with a 3C. So which is a character that is considered to be equipped with 4 skill sets instead of 3 in the battle. So she has more surprise and versatility towards her own ally and against the enemy. Of course, this is just my opinion, because apparently in the PvP that's not how they bring it, and we will be discussing a little bit more either during part 3 of the video or during the actual demo play. And alright, we are almost coming to the end of part 2. We'll now be talking about exclusive skill 3. Okay, exclusive skill 3, aka the 3C skills, known it can be translated as Turmoil of Devouring Order or Chaos of Greed Order. So though it sounds towards more on Turmoil of Devouring Order. Okay, it's a 3C skills, has a CD of 3 turns. The range is 2 blocks. The AoE type is magical single target attack, and it have both passive and active skills. Passive. Number 1, when you enter and have accumulate and use 2 layers of Chaos Fragment counters, CF, buff turn you had will not be reduced, and you can move 2 blocks and attack again. Number 2, upon trigger, this effect will enter a CD of 2 turns. Okay, so this is a very great passive skills. Of course, you can see the pros and cons here, because if a passive, there's a chance it can be sealed by skills that seal passive skills, and if this happens, you'll lose the advantages of able to act again. Whereas the pros is that by the time when you end your turn, if you have accumulate and also use at least 2 layers or more Chaos Fragment counters, you will be able to act again. The buff turn you had will not be reduced. You can move 2 blocks and attack again. Though you can only move 2 blocks. However, know that there's a mage character. She's definitely have a longer range. And not to mention, her talent effect automatically give her built-in +2 range. So she's able to move 2 and +4 targeting range. That's quite a lot. And upon trigger, this effect will enter a CD of 2 turns. So after you end turn, it's just a CD of 1 more turn. So it's a pretty quick and fast CD in my context. I just feel that it's a very fast CD skills. Okay, active skills are as follow. Number 1, attack and deal 1.6 times damage to a target enemy. Number 2, for each skills the target has which are in CD cooldown, increase damage deal by 10%. Number 3, after battle, apply to the target the debuff SBOD. Number 4, if you manage to kill the enemy with these skills, randomly apply to 3 enemies SBOD debuff effect. So I'm going to presume is the debuff effect is a global skills, and there's more pros than cons to this ability. So since the 3C effect talk about SBOD, from a talent, just a quick recap: Sinking Box of Dreams. The effect is when enemy end turn, if they have moved 3 or more blocks this turn, they will have -2 mobility on the next turn. Then skills with the shorter CD will have +1. So this will affect 3 enemies instead of 1 if you manage to kill off the target enemy. So more pros than cons. So 1.6 times damage to a target enemy, that's pretty high. Then not to mention, for each skills the enemy had which are in CD, increase your damage by 10%, so maximum is 30%. Then after the battle, if the target is still alive, you apply the Sinking Box of Dreams to that one enemy, which is better than nothing. However, based on number 4, if you manage to kill that target, you will randomly apply to 3 other enemies the debuff effect. So this effect has more pros and cons compared to the usual Langrisser, generation 1 to 4 heroes. At generation 1 to 4 heroes, we tend to have strong skills with probably great drawbacks of the skills, like attack the enemies. If you successfully kill the enemy, then you will have -1 to 2 turn CD of the skills. However, these skills will have damage reduction on upcoming attack. Sounds familiar? All this mess, at least in my context, it sounds messed up. Or deal very strong damage against the enemies. However, if the enemies survive the attack, you'll not be able to do that, or you have damage decrement for the next 1 to 2 turns. However, that's not the case for Randele. It's not just distance, it's very great. 1.6 times magic damage to target enemies, additional damage increment for the skills each time enemies have skills in CD. This means combining with her talent effect, the max damage increment you can receive is 60% for 1.6 times damage. That is like creating these skills to around 2.5 times or more. Correct me if I'm wrong, this is a rough estimation only. Then if you do not kill the target after the battle, you will still apply debuff to the target. And whereas if you manage to kill the target, oh my gosh, crazy stuff appeared. 3 more random enemy will get this effect, meaning 3 other random enemies will have -2 mobility and have one of their skills with the shorter CD a +1 turn, which means that they will not be able to spam or cast the skill for the next turn. So this giving very great advantages to your team and setting up very great momentum for your whole team build up, whether it's in PvE or PvP. Yep, I'm definitely gonna say this is both PvP and PvE characters, and this may explain why she is at definitely above tier 1, or at least on the bar of tier 1. So alright, having that said, we have an part 2. We are now going to part 3, talking about the pros and cons, and we build up for the characters and probably ways to set up for these characters. Okay, here we go. So alright, before we begin part part 3, something I find it interesting to share with you guys is the latest artwork portrait from the game source itself. We get to see a glimpse of the past of what happened to the relationship of the characters in Ashen. So you can see back in the days, Randele, Hibiscus, Enya, and Shayna, they have been very close, sitting together in a table talking about, I guess, the future and life of the citizens of the country. So this shows that at a certain point of time before the Civil War, they had a very nice and close relationship, and hopefully things can come back to normal again after the whole ordeal. And some spoilers. Oops. And this is currently the latest design of Empress Shayna, aka the younger sisters of Enya. So her original design has no dragon horn, and now she has a dragon horn there. This is a sign, I guess it's a sign that she has been corrupted by chaos, or she's turning into an entity closer to Isodet. And SP theories. Oh yeah, so this time around is not part 1, part 2, but also part 3, where I'll be going through on SP theories too. Forget about it. Oh gosh. Okay, Echo of Light design. Christmas skin. These are some future leaks event. Oh gosh, I'm definitely gonna get it for Isodet. Okay, this is a skin for Stepson. Confession for Arya, and the upcoming Dead or Alive collaboration team. So right, and we're at part 3, pros and cons of Randele, and I'm gonna say it's not going to be that long because she's a very much she's a more transparent and easier to work with character. So okay, here we go. Before carrying on, the great thanks to information shared and provided by the Langrisser Data Bank 梦幻伪证资料库. And alright, this is what you guys will need for her casting material from level 1 to level 10. Then this is the stats of transparent plain text without equipment of her characters at rank 6. So the mage class and demon class. So apparently she make use of magic defense, so in this case it will be highly suggested to go with the mage class instead. Okay, we were talking about Heartborn effect. So the first one will be her mage class, the Deep Sea Avenger. At level 4, when you initiate attack and go into battle, damage received by your unit reduced by 10%. For level 7, when receiving magic attack and going to battle, increase your damage by 10%. And for the demon class cases of Dream Island Demon, at level 4, when your HP percentage when you're being attacked by enemies HP percentage higher than your unit, when you go into battle, damage received reduced by 10%. Level 7. When you receive physical attack and go into battle, increase your damage by 10%. So level 7 wise, once is when you receive magic attack and you have damage increment. The other one is physical attack, damage increment. So you might want to switch around depending on the meta of the Apex. If you are talking about PvP, I mean PvE wise, you guys can switch around. So PvP depends on if she's still useful and famous. It depends on the current meta, where there are going to be more physical attack heroes or magical attack heroes. So talking about talent, so at the start of the battle, you'll be able to obtain chaos fragments, CF layers, and is explained here is being capped at 5 layers. Then as the battle goes on the field is a global effect. Any unit who move 3 blocks or more, you add a layer to her talent, chaos fragment. So there's more pros than cons, because you do not rely on enemy mobility but also your ally mobility. They will add up to a talent, so she do not rely on the enemy's volume itself. Then after she ends her turn, she can use up the CF counter or CF layers and cast Sinking Pulse of Dream SBOD effect on enemy. Then the enemy that has been appointed, if they move 3 blocks or more, the next turn they'll have -2 mobility, and CD of the shorter skills will have +1 turn. So this limit the enemy's mobility and skill release chance on the next turn. So this is how a short clip of how her effect looks like. It's a global effect. There's no range you can target globally. Sorry. Okay, important points. Okay, so the 3C skills effect. So you can make use of your allies or enemies to gain and allow you to use 2 layers of your talent chaos fragments. Then you can trigger your act against effect. So upon trigger, there's a 2 turn CD. So for the explanation, everything on my skill explanation is correct. And even though it's a 1.6 time damage, however, combining with her talent and other effects, going to have a lot of skill damage increment effect. And not to mention, if you manage to kill enemies, you'll be giving debuff SBOD to 3 other enemies. So more pros and cons. Alright. Alright, let's see any other important points. So the rest is just talking about what skills she has and how it works. We'll be seeing more on all the skills she has during the live demo play. Oh, did I miss out the bond? Let me check out. Okay, for all of you guys who are interested to know about bond, she only needs one character for the bond, which is Hibiscus, aka the broken wing bugs. The broken wing bug Hibiscus, only for her defense bond. So if you do not care about defense bond because you have other tankers or characters to help your character survive in PvE or PvP, you lose out a little, however not too much, because she only need the characters for defense bond, whereas for the intelligence offensive, all you need to do is just master her mage class and you'll be able to have it, so not too bad. So it is okay even if you miss out the other characters for the bond, because it's not going to be affecting too much, especially for PvE. You'll lose out just the 10% defense, magic defense, and HP. So alright, we have come to the end, and this is the suggested item build for characters and the enchantment wise. So the reason she's not at tier 0 is that in the current Apex meta, everyone is using clock enchantment, and this means that she clock enchantment is around 30% effect, so it's not 100%. This means that she need a combo setup with one key character, that is Silica, who will cast the buff on her to increase the chance of her enchantment effect to almost 100%, and this allows her to keep spamming her skills. So in the PvP meta, she'll be bringing exclusive skill 1, because it can be switched between 1 and 3. Then she'll be bringing a black hole for AoE. You'll be betting on clock to trigger so that she can spend more black holes against the enemy, and in return giving more debuff against the enemy, and also equipped with a 3C. So exclusive skill 2 is not that much brought with her in the Apex, and don't worry, I'll be posting the Apex S20 on my channel soon, so you guys can see how to abuse and play with Randele 101 in PvP. And alright, with this and end review, and on this last unit you guys seeing is apparently the SP soldier unit, and I'll be featuring on my part 3 of a demo play for you guys, so don't worry and stay tuned. Thank you guys for all the patience and watching the whole channel. I will see you guys on part 2 of video and to the demo play. This is Kami. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the channel, and if you have any questions, do leave it down in the comment sections below. I will try to answer the question for you guys as much as I can. Thank you and goodbye, and watch to the end for the translations of the skills guide. Goodbye.